What was supposed to be a night of celebration turned into disaster after 4 friends who were all drunk left the bar in the city without a designated driver. Designate a driver. Don't drink and drive.
This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Thursday, the 26th of September, 2024. I am Alana Bose reporting for News Source. Here's the latest tonight. Vice President Jagdeo is highly critical of a 20-point oil and gas plan, which was released by opposition leader Aubrey Norton on Wednesday, saying that the plan lacks substance and is replete with duplications. In the plan, the PNC reform leader explained that within 90 days of taking office, a PNCR-APNU administration will constitute an advisory team of professionals with specialties including business, contracts, law, economics, auditing, engineering, geology, and renewable energy to advise the government on the upstream, midstream, and downstream planning, development, and administration of Guyana's oil and gas sector. In addition, he said there will be a review of the existing drafts of the Petroleum Commission legislation and restructure as necessary to finalize the establishment of an independent autonomous petroleum commission. But today, Mr. Jagdeo said there is no commitment to policy in the opposition's document.
This is the useless, totally useless document that they launched this week as the 20-point plan for oil and gas. But they're under pressure to say something, they have nothing to say. So they will put out this piece of garbage. It has nothing, no specific. This is when I keep saying to the people of this country that it's an elaborate con. They write things, it's like academia, you can write anything.
According to Vice President, while most of the PNC's plan is duplicated, others have already been implemented by the PPP government. The Vice President said many parts of the opposition's plan have already been implemented.
12 of their 20 points we will review if we get into office. Review or we'll do feasibility studies. No commitment to doing anything yet. 2 other paragraphs are duplication, so that's 14 points gone. So on the agreement themselves, the Stabber block, they're committing to review, not to renegotiate again.
Mr. Norton had explained that a broader policy document will have to be developed which will be incorporated into the plan that he outlined. Those plans, he had explained, will rid the sector of corruption and ensure maximum benefit for Guyanese. The opposition leader said that for full transparency of the sector, his party will institute a publication of information protocol, ensuring that all information, including but not limited to contracts, agreements, contractor quarterly reports, new discoveries, updated reserves, and production data be made accessible to the public conveniently and timely, among other measures. More news coming up in a moment.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look. You know the one. Or one touch, even one word. I can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Your own home is so much more than just 4 walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you. The oil and gas industry is helping to transform safety standards across all sectors of Guyana. The government and industry leaders are pioneering safer offshore oil production with new legislation, updated policies, and state-of-the-art floating production, storage, and offloading vessels.
Are you ready to elevate your career with a world-class education from the comfort of your home? The University of Excellence Management and Business, UEMB, Guyana's premier accredited and recognized tertiary institution, invites you to join one or more of our comprehensive 145-degree programs. Registration is now open for our next intake on September 9 and every 2 months thereafter. Enroll now and secure a 50% scholarship. Choose from an ABA, BBA, MBA, MPM, EMBA, EMPM, and LLM degrees, available in 14 specializations. Whether you hold an undergraduate degree, a diploma, or relevant professional qualifications, apply. We are an accredited degree-granting tertiary institution in Guyana. Our programs are also equivalent to a USA Regional Accredited degree. Submit your completed application form, proof of entrance qualification, and any form of ID. For more details, visit our administrative office in the Critchlow Labour College, front building, Wolford Avenue, or call 225-1395, 225-1397-9, 618-3434, and 681-3434. Progressing to a degree is as easy as ABC with UEMB. Deal with the best and forget the rest.
I can't wait until tomorrow.
Yes.
Start packing this, yeah?
I ain't start packing yet. Usually I pack a couple hours before and I go. Drive. I got my phone, I got my keys, my charger, my
Procrastinating planning for the future? Well, that's never a good idea. Let Demerara Mutual and Demerara Fire and General help you get started with planning for your future today. I'm with Dem.
Citizens of Guyana and the United Arab Emirates will now be able to travel to each other's country without requiring a visa. On the sidelines of the ongoing United Nations General Assembly in New York, Guyana's Minister of Foreign Affairs Hugh Todd and Minister of State for International Cooperation of the UAE Reem Al-Hashimi signed the visa agreement, establishing the mutual exemption of entry visa requirements between the two countries. The signing of the bilateral agreement followed a meeting between the UAE delegation at the UN General Assembly and the Guyana delegation, which was led by President Irfan Ali. News source understands that the visa-free agreement follows several months of talks and discussions between the two sides. In December last year, President Irfan Ali met and held discussions with the President of the UAE during a visit to Dubai for a climate change meeting. During that meeting, the two leaders agreed to extend cooperation in various key fields of development, particularly in food security, energy, technology, capacity building, and cultural and social exchanges. The two sides also agreed to fortify bilateral partnerships across a wide range of areas concerning socio-economic and cultural development. The president of the UAE also agreed at the time to open a United Arab Emirates embassy in Guyana in the near future as both sides look to develop cooperation. As some residents of Linden pick up the pieces of the devastation left by a freak storm which blew off roofs and downed trees 2 days ago, the Civil Defense Commission has started to offer assistance. In a statement, the CDC announced that acting on the guidance of the government, it distributed 30 food and cleaning hampers and several tarpaulins after conducting a damage assessment of those impacted. The Ministry of Public Works has also dispatched technical officers to assess and begin works on clearing drains and waterways in the region. The CDC said building supplies will be delivered to the affected residents subsequently so that they may begin to restore their homes and livelihoods. Some homeowners saw the roofs of their houses completely blown off, while trees fell on the roof of other homes, and in one case, a house collapsed on a parked car. Minister of Public Works Juan Edgehill was in the region yesterday directing officials to begin the relief measures, including the provision of zinc sheets for those who lost their roofs. The chairman of Region 10, Darren Adams, who was also on the ground assessing the damages, he pressed the government to offer more assistance to the affected residents. Mr. Adams, in a statement, said the regional administration has been proactive in its approach to lend assistance to the affected residents. He said the flooding situation in the bauxite town is also a major issue that needs urgent attention by the central government.
We call on these agencies to stop this masquerade of seeming to want to help our residents and to visit Linden and engage us in a multi-sectoral way to see what assistance could be brought to bear to help our residents. Based on the plans and measures we have provided for their consideration and action.
During a visit to the damaged homes of residents, the regional chairman called on the government to do more than officer-capped relief and support. He said a proper assessment needs to be done and the affected residents be given full support to build back their lives following the storm.
Our residents must be provided some level of support for losses incurred by lack of provision of resources to mitigate against the effects of these storms. We have seen persons whose homes and businesses were similarly affected in other regions and towns, provided with assistance to help them get themselves back on their feet. Our council has been proactive in conducting a survey of those persons in affected communities.
The opposition PNC Reform, which holds the majority on both the Region 10 Democratic Council and the Mayor and Town Council, has announced that it has dispatched an assessment team to the town in wake of the storm and the flooding.
Hi, I'm Marlene Street Forrest, Managing Director of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Join us at the second Regional Investment and Capital Markets Conference to be held in Guyana on October 8 to 9, 2024 at the Pegasus Suites and Corporate Center. Under the theme Financing for Success, where passion, prosperity and people align, we will explore the latest trends and opportunities in wealth creation and economic development. This two-day event promises to be engaging, enlightening and game-changing. To register to attend, visit www.jamstockex.com or call 876-967-3271. Come and make the right connections.
The Guyana Elections Commission GECOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by December 31st, 2024 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. How to apply for registration? You must visit the GECOM registration office that is responsible for the registration of persons from your area of residence to apply for registration or name change or correction. You must be in possession of the following source documents as might be relevant: original birth certificate or valid Guyana passport for new registration, original marriage certificate and original birth certificate in the case of a name change by way of marriage, original deed poll and original birth certificate in the case of a name change by deed poll, original naturalization certificate and original birth certificate or valid passport in the case of naturalization. This registration exercise will end on November 29th, 2024. For further information, please contact GECOM on the following hotline numbers: 225-027729, 226-6557, 223-9650, or visit the GECOM website at www.gecom.org.gy.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank,
We're the one for you.
Monster, bust the flavors. We're full of flavors. Bust the flavors, that my crave for. We're full of flavors. Tell your neighbors about the bust the flavors. Grab a bust the flavors. Yeah, thirst buster, grab a buster. Bust the flavor, taste the savor. Buster, bust the flavors. Buster, bust the flavors.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. I can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
President Irfan Ali has dismissed a group of Guyanese protesters outside an event he attended in New York as noisemakers who will be left behind of Guyana's development. Before heading to the United Nations General Assembly on Wednesday, the president stopped in Brooklyn at a Guyanese-owned restaurant for a breakfast meeting with several persons from the Guyanese diaspora in New York. But on the outside of the meeting, another group of Guyanese, led by political activist Rickford Burke, protested against the president, accusing him and his government of acts of racism, discrimination, and corruption. The president avoided the picketers, but he later told a media representative in New York that he is not bothered by noise and noisemakers.
And there was some noise from a few people, very few people. But as I said before, we don't pay attention to the noise. The few people who are making noise will be left behind. The train of development, the train of unity, the train of togetherness took off. Let them continue with their ignorance and racism.
The protest lasted for more than 2 hours and was organized by the Caribbean Guyana Institute for Democracy and the Guyanese diaspora organizations of the USA. Among the protesters was the mother of slain political activist Courtney Crumewing, who was shot dead while campaigning for the opposition APNU and AFC in the run-up to the 2015 elections. No one has ever been charged for his murder. The protesters also raised concerns about recent announcements by the government that it will be introducing legislation to regulate social media. They said they believe that move is to silence government critics. The Guyana Water Incorporated has started work on a $130 million well, which is being drilled in the new LBI housing scheme on the east coast of Demerara. When completed, the well will supply water to the more than 3,000 house lots that are being developed in the new housing area.
Indeed, north of this location, we have about 528 lots. To the south and to the west, you have another 1,500 lots. So all told, this well is expected to serve about 2,000 households. So that's quite a bit of a number of customers.
During an inspection of the works and the development of the community on Wednesday, Housing and Water Minister Colin Crowell noted the critical role the new well will play in meeting the increased demand for treated water in the rapidly expanding residential community. He said it will significantly improve water access and service reliability for LBI residents while alleviating pressure on the existing distribution network to enhance overall system performance.
The access to water, because now you have occupancy in the area. So access to water becomes a major issue. So first of all, we'll address water. We did have a contract that was awarded to a contractor, and we have since terminated that contract for this new development in LBI, and we have since re-awarding to another contractor.
The well will be drilled to a maximum depth of approximately 900 feet. Construction, equipping, and commissioning of the well are expected to be completed within 3 months, with full operation scheduled to commence shortly thereafter. This project is part of a broader effort to improve water access across the region efficiently and ensure housing areas are equipped with basic utilities.
Front portion coming in, we are trying to link that front portion, because you have to be cognizant of the pressure that is in the environment, in the surrounding areas. So the front portion, we are trying to link the LBI front to that front portion of this new development.
During his visit to the community, a number of residents who have recently moved into their homes complained about the lack of proper drainage and the absence of adequate street lighting. The minister informed them that street lights will be added to the community in the coming weeks, and the drainage works are also set to begin soon. Vice President Jagdeo today announced that since the introduction of the government's loan forgiveness program for University of Guyana students, some 346 students have benefited to the tune of $203.7 million. At his weekly press conference this afternoon, Mr. Jagdeo said the government is seeking to write off an additional 2,900 student loans this year, which will cost approximately $5 billion. He said the writing off of student loans is the first phase towards the reintroduction of free university education for the first time in 30 years.
And it's anticipated that by the end of the year, another 2,900 would also get their debts written off. If we use the same average, that will be about $5 billion this year alone. And if more people come in, we write all of it off in a single year, the full $18 billion once they're eligible. So I want to urge the students who have outstanding debts to just apply for the write-off so that we can proceed with doing so.
The writing off of student loans will be done in phases, with $11 billion in student loans set to be written off in the first phase. Government is also examining a mechanism to assist students who would have already paid their fees to the university but are repaying loans to commercial banks. The University of Guyana provided free education up until 1994, when charges were introduced under the PPP civic government and then President Dr. Cheddi Jagan.
There are about $18 billion of debt owed by students for the past maybe 20 years to the University of Guyana. The only condition for you to be eligible for this write-off is being here in Guyana. So no other criterion or criteria for eligibility. Once you're here in Guyana and contributing to national development.
Meanwhile, the vice president said that the government continues to make tertiary education accessible. He urged persons to make use of the opportunities under the Guyana Online Academy of Learning Gold Scholarship Program, which has already benefited thousands of persons.
GECOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by December 31, 2024 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. It is the civic duty and legal responsibility of all persons who meet the eligibility requirements to apply for registration. By doing so, you will be ensuring that you are issued a national identification card and be included in the official lists of electors for future elections, providing you meet all eligibility criteria. Persons could be prosecuted, fined, or even sent to prison for failing or refusing to apply for registration. This registration exercise will end on November 29, 2024. For further information, contact GECOM on 225-027729 or visit the website www.gecom.org.gy.
What was supposed to be a night of celebration turned into disaster after 4 friends who were all drunk left the bar in the city without a designated driver. Designate a driver. Don't drink and drive.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look. You know the one. Or one touch. Even one word. I can start with one step. Or one promise. One thrill. One first time. One deep breath. One leap of faith. One day to remember. Or one night to forget. One moment. So many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life. Just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyana is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyana's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyana has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
Across the region tonight, Haitian Prime Minister Gary Conal said yesterday that the Caribbean country was a long way from winning its war against armed gangs that control most of the capital as the United Nations deadline for long-delayed support fast approaches. Haiti is currently facing a gang attack at the capital's main port, Conal said, the key entry point for funding and goods. A ship official told Reuters this week that ships were being shot at, preventing them from docking and unloading containers, while authorities have reported the kidnapping of 2 Filipino crew members from a cargo vessel in the port. Haiti's main seaports and international airport closed for nearly 3 months earlier this year after violence escalated at the end of February, an outbreak that saw thousands broken out of prison and the last prime minister resign. In Jamaica, the Jamaica Observer reports that the country's appeal court president, Marva MacDonald Bishop, says there will be a full court sitting soon to hammer out issues with aspects of the new Firearm Act, which have been proving a pain to lawyers and judges alike. The Firearm Prohibition, Restriction and Regulation Act, which took effect in November 2022, among other things, provides penalties ranging from 15 years to life imprisonment for possession of illegal weapons, establishes a dual regime, distinguishing between prohibited weapons or unregulated firearms and connected activities, and firearms that are duly authorized and registered. It also speaks to establishing a framework that prohibits firearms and ammunition that are illicitly traded and which regards possession of those prohibited firearms and ammunition as the foundation on which other violent crimes are committed. And finally, tonight, international news. Reuters reports that Britain's wrongful detention and deportation of Caribbean migrants was the result of decades of racist immigration laws designed to reduce the country's non-white population, a long-withheld official report showed today. Known as the Windrush scandal, the revelations of the mistreatment of thousands of Caribbean people damaged the authority of former British Prime Minister Theresa May, who had led efforts to tackle illegal immigration when she led the Interior Ministry or Home Office. Hundreds of thousands of migrants from the Caribbean came to Britain between 1948 and 1971 on ships such as the Empire Windrush to fill labor shortages in post-war Britain. In 2018, Britain had to apologize for its treatment of the Windrush generation after a tightening of immigration policy meant thousands were denied basic rights despite having lived in Britain for decades, and dozens were wrongly deported. Britain's previous Conservative government in 2022 refused to publish the historical roots of the Windrush scandal report, rejecting requests under the Freedom of Information Act. The report, now released by the newly elected Labour government, found that between 1950 and 1981, every single piece of immigration or citizenship legislation was designed, at least in part, to reduce the number of Black people allowed to live and work in Britain. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I am Alana Bose, wishing you and yours a good night.